since the FedEx man just came, let's see what we got. Ooh, doggy, doggy, doggy. Look at this. Outstanding. The new Milwaukee Fuel Extended Reach Ratchet. I'm pumped about this. Of course, we got our carrying case. Let's check this out. Oh yeah. So it comes with a charger, comes with the battery. I actually have a battery already ready on the M12 platform, so we don't need to worry about these right now. Let's, ooh, look at that. Look at that bad boy. Let's compare it to the one that we were using. Check that out. Look at the difference in reach. We'll put it about there. That's nuts. So I love this one. Let's switch over and use this one just to compare it and see how it does. So how random is it that this came in the middle of doing a brake job on the R32, which actually ended up being a great place to use a tool like this. So this is the Milwaukee Extended Length Big Boy Electric Ratchet. This is a fuel ratchet, so it's a brushless motor. Very comparable to the older new fuel that came out, I think, last year. So I actually got to see this at the Milwaukee Tools Symposium back in, I think, June, and it was met with pretty big fanfare, especially from the automotive folks, because it's something they've been asking about for quite some time. Now, I like this tool. I think it's a great addition to the toolbox, and that's the key. I see this more as a niche tool to be used in certain places, and in those places will probably make the tool worth the money. Let's talk about the things that I like about it. It's just that niche tool. It extends the distance from your hand to the working point of the tool, and that's a good thing. Think of transmission bolts, and maybe we're working like this, and all we see is this part of the tool. Our bolt is hidden up there in a blind place. Or down, right? Same kind of thing. I'm thinking like 1.8 turbo Passat serpentine belt tensioner bolts, dropping it down, getting in there. The brakes on the R32, it was nice to be able to have my hand lower all the way below the rotor, but still have the tool be able to get onto the work surface. Whereas this one, I couldn't get it up there. I had to back the tool away and put a couple extensions on it, or an extension and an adapter on it. So this one here that I have is the 1/4-inch drive. I prefer the 1/4-inch drive. I prefer 1/4-inch drive tools pretty much in general, unless we're working on bigger stuff. That's mostly because working on European cars can be a super pain in the butt. All the spaces are very, very small, very, very tight, and rather awkward. The tools are very much the same. The head on the 3/8 drive is a bit bigger, so that'll be something you'll want to be aware of. If you're really focused, like hyper-focused on tight spaces, then the 1/4-inch drive is probably going to be the better one. If you got a little bit more room, say you're working on big trucks or something, maybe there's a bit more room, then you will probably be good with the 3/8. Now, they did not make a 1/2-inch drive in this yet. They may at some point. That may be a next year thing. Right now, you only have 1/4-inch and 3/8 drives to pick from. Other than being a little bit different head size on the 3/8, the tools are very much the same, although the 3/8 drive does have a bit more power. I think this one was 55 pound-feet max torque, where this one is, I want to say, right at 40, so you got a little bit more there. I would also say if you're heavy abuse, you want to make sure you pay attention and get the 3/8, because I think that's just going to have a stronger anvil. I mean, it's bigger, right? So it should be a stronger anvil than the, oh, that one won't stand up, than the 1/4-inch drive. So overall, I think this is a really cool tool. You can see the cooling fans right in through here. That should keep it nice and cool. Oh, I went ahead and pulled out my Snap-on one. This one I've had for quite some time, just to, I don't know, because it was there. And what I noticed, listen to the difference in these two. This is the Snap-on audio. This is the Milwaukee audio. So this is on the M12 platform battery. This little guy right here, this is the smaller amp hour battery. They also have, I think, a 4 amp hour battery, which is the one with the flat bottom, which is nice to help stand it up. So weight-wise, the extended one is a little bit heavier. Of course, there's more material, more metal, but it's only about 2.5, 3 ounces heavier than the fuel one. I couldn't find my non-fuel one to weigh the difference, but they're very, very comparable. I will say one of the things is the balance. So most of the weight is right here, like right here where the motor is. And when we have this one in our hand, a lot of that weight is right next to where our hand is, right? So the majority of the weight's like right here. It makes it a little bit more balanced. When we extend the ratchet out, and once we get a socket on it, or if we're using the 3/8, it changes that balance and makes the head of it a little bit head heavy, obviously. I don't think that's a deal breaker. Again, I'm not going to be grabbing this one first. This is going to be my niche tool for those special applications, so I'm not as worried about balance. I just think this one's a little bit better. Now, there is a couple of things after using this that I don't love. A couple of them are tool design, and one is straight up me and a problem with me, so don't take that as like, this is a deal breaker on the tool. In fact, I don't know that any of these things are deal breakers on the tool. First of all, it's bigger, right? That's what we got it for. It's bigger. So that does take up more room in your toolbox, can make for a little bit more awkwardness when trying to get on a fastener. It's not like, you know, your hand is 2.5, 3 inches. Let's measure. The standard length one, right at about 15 centimeters or 6 inches. The extended one looks like we're at about 23.5 centimeters or 9.25 inches. So about a 3-inch difference. So we're extending that out quite a bit. It may be a little bit more awkward to get the head of the tool, the socket, onto a fastener, especially because considering this is really when we're using this, we're working in a blind space. The other thing is the light. On the standard length one, the light does a pretty good job of lighting the surface of where we're working. But on this one, the light's in the exact same place. We're just moving the head 3 or so inches, so it really doesn't light the place that we're trying to get to at all. Considering we're working blind, it's not a huge deal, but that is something that, you know, maybe you want to consider. If you're the type of person, and I don't really rely on these a whole lot, I like to illuminate my work area more than just with the light of a tool. That's any tool, period. If you rely on this though, keep in mind that that light only shines to, you know, right about here. It doesn't get that extra length and shine up to here. So if this light were up here more, or maybe just right here would be cool, or maybe a ring. You know, I don't know, the strength of putting a light here may not be worth it, but that could be something cool and something to consider. But this light does not illuminate the surface that you're working on when you're using the extended. The other thing is that because this is a longer tool, and because I'm using it to loosen or fasten, I felt like I was using it wrong a fair amount of times. And what I mean is, so let's say we have a bolt that we know is, I don't know, call it 15 Newton meters tight, right? 20 Newton meters tight. And we get our electric ratchet and we put it on there and we go, crap, it's not coming loose. It's too tight for the tool to break loose. What I found myself doing is using the tool to break it loose and the tool to tighten it up. Now, you can use this just as a regular ratchet. It will ratchet back and forth just like a hand tool. However, I'd worry that I was putting too much stress, especially on the 1/4 inch drive, on this tool by trying to break it loose or tighten it up. And for some reason, that's not something I really had an issue with the standard one, but this one, it just felt like, oh, I'm right here, the tool's got plenty of leverage, let me just go ahead and crank it. And considering we pretty much have, and I want to say pretty much, it's really darn close. It might even be the exact same anvil on the two of these. Think about how much more leverage 4 inches or so gives you on this one versus this one. So I'd be worried that would break the anvil. Now, they are under warranty, of course, but is that improper tool usage or neglect or abuse, or would that be covered? I think they do that case by case. So I feel like this, to sum this all up, if you have one of these, and you find that you want just a little bit more extended reach, this is a great tool. Overall, it's a great ratchet. It works really, really well. Ideally, right, in a perfect world, I think we would all be cool with having both of them. I'm sure Milwaukee would love that. But I wouldn't trade this one out and only have this one. If I'm picking one, I gotta pick this one. So as with many tools, if you can, run over to the hardware store and put them both in your hand, see how they feel to you. Everybody's different and everybody's approach to using tools is rather different. So no matter what tool review or tool recap you watch, always recommend if you can, go to the store, put your hand on the tools and see what they feel like in your hand versus me versus anybody else or anything else. But it's definitely worth putting in your hand before you fork over, I don't know, I'll drop the retail and text right down there at the bottom. Before you fork over that amount of money, it's worth doing that. So I'm gonna wrap it up there. Questions, comments, drop them down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again next time. Wait, don't go. Somehow I almost forgot. I got a giveaway. I was able to sweet talk the folks at Milwaukee to giving me 2 of these to give away to you guys, 1 1/4 inch drive and 1 3/8 drive. So here's how we're gonna play. Step 1, like the video. Step 2, share the video. Step 3, drop a comment down below and let me know which one you want, 1/4 inch or 3/8, and what you're going to be working on when you're using it. Is it car related, household related, at the shop, in the garage, whatever it is. I'm excited to hear your stories, and then I'll pick one winner for the 1/4 inch and one winner for the 3/8. Now, normally I limit this to US residents only, but this time I'm gonna let everybody play, as long as if you're outside the US, you're willing to pay shipping. I'll have Milwaukee ship it to me, then I'll ship it out to you. I'll of course put all the rules and everything down in the description, and when I pick those 2 winners, I will lock a comment up at the top so you know the contest is over. Good luck, and I'm excited to hear what you guys are gonna use these for.